Everything that is done in this world is done by hope. Martin Luther. Hope is the companion of power and the mother of success, for whoso hopes has within him the gift of miracles. Samuel Smiles. I simply can't build my hopes on a foundation of confusion, misery and death. I think peace and tranquility will return again. And Frank. We stand today on the edge of a new frontier, the frontier of the 1960s, a frontier of unknown opportunities and perils, a frontier of unfulfilled hopes and threats. John F. Kennedy. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. Nelson Mandela. Unless commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes, but no plans. Peter Drucker. Positional leaders ignore the fact that every person has hopes, dreams, desires, and goals of his own. And leaders must bring their vision and the aspirations of the people they lead together in a way that benefits everyone. John C. Maxwell. No place affords a more striking conviction of the vanity of human hopes than a public library. Samuel Johnson. Prosperity is not without many fears and distastes, adversity not without many comforts and hopes. Francis Bacon. Be careful to leave your sons well instructed rather than rich, for the hopes of the instructed are better than the wealth of the ignorant. Epictetus. He that hopes no good fears no ill. Thomas Fuller. I have great hopes that we shall love each other all our lives as much as if we had never married at all. Lord Byron. The trouble with most people is that they think with their hopes or fears or wishes rather than with their minds. Will Durant. I am in touch with a company that hopes to replicate my voice. However, they are not replicating my original voice. If they did that, I would sound like a man in his 20s, which would be very strange. They are actually trying to replicate the synthesizer that sits on my wheelchair. Stephen Hawking. Youth is to all the glad season of life, but often only by what it hopes, not by what it attains, or what it escapes. Thomas Carlyle. Lucky that man whose children make his happiness in life and not his grief, the anguished disappointment of his hopes. Euripides. We promise according to our hopes and perform according to our fears. François de la Rochefoucauld. I'm a romantic. A sentimental person thinks things will last. A romantic person hopes against hope that they won't. F. Scott Fitzgerald. Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. Desmond Tutu. Hope never abandons you, you abandon it. George Weinberg. Tomorrow is the most important thing in life. Comes into us at midnight very clean. It's perfect when it arrives and it puts itself in our hands. It hopes we've learned something from yesterday. John Wayne. That man is prudent who neither hopes nor fears anything from the uncertain events of the future. Anatole France. One must always hope when one is desperate, and doubt when one hopes. Gustave Flaubert. The human body experiences a powerful gravitational pull in the direction of hope. That is why the patient's hopes are the physician's secret weapon. They are the hidden ingredients in any prescription. Norman Cousins. My hopes are not always realized, but I always hope. Ovid. The 19th century was completely lacking in logic. It had cosmic terms and hopes, and aspirations, and discoveries, and ideals, but it had no logic. Gertrude Stein. We become not a melting pot but a beautiful mosaic. Different people, different beliefs, different yearnings, different hopes, different dreams. Jimmy Carter. I suppose that every one of us hopes secretly for immortality, to leave, a name behind him which will live forever in this world, whatever he may be doing, himself, in the next. A. Milne. Everyone wants to know and hopes I retire so they can get the jobs. But my contracts with Fendi and Chanel are lifelong. Karl Lagerfeld. I've made mistakes before of doing different projects just based on my dreams, my hopes, my thing, and not really thinking about my customers. Tyra Banks. There are a lot of people who have dreams, goals, and hopes, but there aren't a lot who get to see them realized. Tyler Perry. I am someone who hopes for the best and prepares for the worst. Hillary Clinton. I've made mistakes before of doing different projects just based on my dreams, my hopes, my thing, and not really thinking about my customers. Tyra Banks. Vain hopes are like certain dreams of those who wake. Quintillion. Expectation loiters in the DNA of every sentient being. When you tell yourself or a loved one, don't get your hopes up, you're fighting ancient genetic programming. Martha Beck. A hungry wolf at all the herd will run, in hopes, through many, to make sure of one. William Congreve. Everyone hopes to get a fall slot, but I'm just happy to get on the air. Bonnie Hunt. Even if the hopes you started out with are dashed, hope has to be maintained. Seamus Heaney. I guess I harbored hopes that things would happen more quickly, but I'm not disappointed. Jerry Greenfield. When you please others in hopes of being accepted, you lose your self-worth in the process. Dave Pelzer. Once you choose hope, anything's possible. Christopher. One always hopes that you're going to have influence and staying power, but you never know. Chris France. Jobs that cannot be delivered must never be promised. It's unfair to raise people's hopes that way. Bill O'Reilly. It was always my dream to do a leading role on Broadway. It's what I went to college to do, in hopes of one day someone taking a chance on me and saying, you know what? You're going to be our girl. Patna Miller. You must always have great, secret, big fat hopes for yourself in love and in life. The bigger, the better. Gloria Vanderbilt. One hopes that good, sensible and brave people will continue to go into public life at all levels. Nicholas Soames. It is because of hope that you suffer. It is through hope that you'll change things. Maxime Lagacé. I hope to continue to support, to inspire, to motivate, to encourage. In the hopes that maybe the world can get a little bit more giggle. Alyssa Edwards.